Have you ever seen a tourist push their luck with royal guards? Maybe you haven't, but it's quickly becoming a common occurrence. And what they don't know is that these guards don't like to joke around. In this video, we'll explore some unforgettable moments when tourists broke the rules and got a taste of instant karma. These stories will leave you on the edge of your seat, gasping in disbelief and wondering how anyone could be so reckless. In a surprising twist, a tourist strolled up to a royal guard standing tall and stoic beside his magnificent horse. Fueled by curiosity and perhaps a bit too much enthusiasm, she decided it was the perfect moment to strike up a conversation. "Hey there, what's it like being a royal guard?" she asked, completely oblivious to his stern expression. As if sensing impending chaos, the horse shifted nervously. Undeterred, she leaned in closer and stretched out her hand to touch the horse's sleek mane. "I just want to pet him. He looks so friendly," she thought. But the horse had other ideas. With a snort that could rival a dragon's roar, it stomped its hoof and turned its head sharply, as if to say, "Back off, buddy." The royal guard, trying to maintain his composure, shot her a glare that could freeze fire. "No touching, it's a rule," he barked. Embarrassed, she awkwardly raised her hands in surrender and retreated. As she walked away, the other tourists couldn't help but chuckle. Sometimes curiosity really does lead to a wild ride. Some people just have trouble reading signals. How on earth did she think she could get away with such an act? Here's what happened. As the woman approached the regal horse, she couldn't resist snapping a picture. "This is going to be the best Instagram post ever," she must have thought, angling her camera closer to the horse. But as she got closer, she noticed the king's guard sitting stone-faced on the horse, his staff in hand and his gaze fixed straight ahead. "He must be super serious about his job," she mused, leaning in even further. With a mischievous grin, she reached out, thinking, what's the harm in a little touch? Just as her fingers brushed the horse's shiny coat, the guard finally broke his silence. "Don't touch the horse," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the courtyard like a royal decree. Startled, she yanked her hand back as if she'd touched a hot stove. "Whoa, I didn't know horses had bodyguards," she must have thought. Her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Amused and startled, she backed away slowly. And when you think you've seen it all, here's an even more hilarious scenario between a guard and a tourist. As the curious tourist edged closer, he leaned in, peering at the guard's face as if trying to read a secret message. What's he hiding behind that firm expression, he wondered, his nose almost touching the guard's armor. The guard, however, remained as still as a statue. Not one to back down, the tourist decided to up the ante. He began swinging his arms back and forth in exaggerated motions, as if he were conducting an invisible orchestra. "Hey, look at me, I'm the new royal conductor," he joked, chuckling to himself. The guard's eyes narrowed, but he held his ground, determined not to give in to the antics. Soon the guard's patience wore thin. With a swift motion, he slapped the tourist on the back of the head, a loud smack echoing through the courtyard. The tourist jumped back, eyes wide as saucers. Okay, I get it. No more conducting, he must have thought. the slap sending him staggering away in shock. People just don't know their place. If they did, this tourist would have known better than to mess with the royal guard. With a cheeky grin, she approached the guard, her mind filled with mischief. She started with a little cha-cha, shimmying right next to him in an attempt to break through his stern facade. But the guard didn't budge, his gaze fixed straight ahead, as if she were merely a passing breeze. Undeterred, she switched to a dramatic tango, leaning in close and giving it her all. The surrounding tourists began to chuckle as she effortlessly switched styles, even throwing in some breakdancing moves. But then, with a thunderous stamp of his foot, the guard snapped. The sound echoed and the lady froze mid-spin, her eyes wide with surprise. With a quick adjustment of his gun and a huff of frustration, the guard marched away, leaving her in stunned silence. Well, that didn't go as planned, she thought, amused as she strolled away, still buzzing from the unexpected encounter. Now, here's a twist. He did not see it coming. This elderly tourist, full of confidence and eager to capture the perfect shot, strutted over to the majestic horse. "This will be a great addition to my vacation album," he mused, inching closer until he was practically nose to nose with the animal. Little did he know, horses have strong opinions about personal space. As he leaned in for that artsy angle, the horse, feeling a bit crowded, decided it was time to assert its boundaries. With a swift move, it chomped down slightly on his hand. His eyes widened as he pulled back, shocked and bewildered. "What the?" he yelped, raising his fist in a mix of anger and disbelief. He glared at the horse, which seemed completely unfazed. Cursing under his breath, he shook his fist at the horse, a mix of embarrassment and frustration evident in his every move. Here's the thing, boundaries are meant to be respected, but one young lady was about to learn that lesson, hopefully the easy way rather than the hard way. With a gleam in her eye, she approached the horse, clearly thinking it was all fun and games. Not only did she reach out to touch its mane, but she also grabbed the horse's handle, standing far too close for comfort. Meanwhile, the guard, watching the whole scene unfold, felt his patience wearing thin. "What is she thinking?" he muttered. Finally, he snapped. Leaning forward, he yelled at the top of his lungs, "Move back." His command echoed like a thunderclap, startling not only the young lady, but everyone within earshot. Taken aback, she stumbled and quickly stepped back, her face a mix of shock and embarrassment. Okay, I didn't mean to invade your personal space," she must have thought, even if it took a little theatrics. Here, the situation takes a turn for the worse, a moment that can only be described as a recipe for disaster. A lady tourist thought she'd found the perfect spot for a photo or video, or so she believed. With excitement in her eyes, she walked up to the majestic horse, thinking that a little touch wouldn't hurt. Instead of maintaining a respectful distance, she leaned in and reached for the horse's handle as if it were a trendy handbag. Clearly unimpressed by her boldness, the horse began to struggle, trying to shake off her unexpected grip, as if to say, "Excuse me, I'm not a toy." At that moment, the royal guard sprang into action with urgency and authority. He quickly adjusted the horse's handle to pry her hand away. Realizing the chaos she had caused, the tourist's eyes widened in shock. She quickly pulled her hand back, covering her mouth in disbelief. "Oh my goodness, what just happened?" she exclaimed, backing away as if the horse might retaliate. The guard, clearly angry, held the horse firmly and looked straight ahead. Imagine trying to befriend a horse that clearly has other plans. Our adventurous tourist, ignoring all the warning signs, decided to get up close and personal with the majestic steed. With determination in her eyes, she moved closer, intent on showing the horse some affection. But as she reached out to touch it, the horse let out a bellow that could wake up the dead, and snapped at her hand as if it were a carrot at a buffet. Undeterred by the horse's less than warm welcome, she tried again and again and again. Each time she attempted to pet the horse, it retaliated with aggressive bites, making it clear that this was not a petting zoo. The guard, perhaps thinking this was a lesson best learned the hard way, kept his eyes fixed ahead, as if he were watching a particularly riveting soap opera.
Some don't like it.
Get off the reins!
Now the situation gets even more hilarious. Teenagers think everything is fun until they see the reaction of the royal guard. They did not believe it. It all started with a group of teenagers fueled by excitement and a dash of curiosity, who spotted a beautiful horse and decided it was the perfect moment for a petting party. One by one, they reached out, giggling and cooing as they petted the horse like it was a fluffy puppy. Soon enough, the crowd grew, and before you knew it, kids were all over the horse. But here's the thing, the horse was not exactly thrilled with the sudden influx of attention. It shifted its head as if to say, "Hey folks, I'm not a playground ride." Yet the kids were too busy having fun to notice its subtle signs of discomfort. Finally, the guard, feeling like a referee in a chaotic game, shouted, "Get out of the way." His command, booming like a scene from a comedy, made everyone suddenly realize they'd crossed a line. Slowly, they backed off, creating a safe distance, but not quite enough. A few kids still eyed the horse, trying to figure out just how close was too close. The horse, relieved yet still a bit annoyed, gave one final huff and keep a respectful distance from the unexpected. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic moments of tourists learning the hard way. And let us know in the comments which scenario was the most hilarious.